Y'all know you're gonna get oppressed in different ways. Y'all know that, don't you? You're gonna get oppressed in different ways. That's how it works. You notice that scripture in Ecclesiastes where it says, surely 7:7, it says, surely oppression will make a wise man mad. Every time I think about our people, it's forms of different of oppression. Our people, for one, yep, for one, our people, they hate us just like the white man, the so-called white man, are worse. When I say worse, I'm talking about they have the same amount of, because they had a spirit on them, they have it just as bad as Esau, the so-called white man. And that's a form of oppression too, because you not only have the so-called, now he controlled the world, and they control them. And when I see somebody oppressing me, when I say oppressing me, looking at you all crazy, especially when they with another so-called white person or whatever, it pisses me off and I get real angry. Like, because they act like when they are with those people who oppress their people, they feel somehow like they God, like they looking at them like they can do no wrong, bro. But a lot of people, they tell you, oh no, well, you focusing on that, you can't, you know what I mean, don't focus on that, don't worry about it. That's what they tell you. But when they people go to get killed with the gun in the streets by the same people that they telling me that I should, don't, you know, just don't think about it, whatever. Hell, whether you know it or not, you a target in your car, whether you a so-called black person or you are targeted, whether you walking. They don't give us, look, let me tell you something, people. The white man, I'm going to be simple, the so-called white, they don't give a fuck about that. As long as you a person of color, they're going to harass you either way it go. And then you got to deal with our people. Now, some of our people is not aware. Some of them is not aware. Some of them is just unaware. Because, see, sometimes some people have to come to the knowledge of it. You know what I mean? So I try not to go in. I go in hard, but I try to, like, give some space to breathe, because some of our people don't know. But some of our people do know, and them the ones that I really be, like, it's like, I be angry, man. You know? And a lot of people say, well, if God, now here's how a lot of people will screw this up and try to justify this thing. They'll say, well, since we disobeyed God and broke his commandments, since we disobeyed him and broke his commandments and stuff, and he sent them against us, then we should take the ass whooping or punishment that he brought upon us, because we didn't listen. So why would you get mad? Just take it. But in the word in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7, as I mentioned earlier ago, he says, surely oppression will make a wise man mad. Now, God used, yeah, he did. He used the other nations, according to Deuteronomy 28 and 49, is to punish us. Yes, he did that. But at the same time, he's going to all those other nations that he had to do this because we went off and we didn't listen to him. So right there, people say, well, okay then. Don't worry about being this and that and the third. They'll say that, you know what I'm saying? Which, okay, you do, okay, you get it in a way, but they use that as a clutch. Is to say it's okay. My problem is they'll use that as a clutch. Is to say, well, love them. You know, we made our, you know what I'm saying? That's the way a lot of our people probably thinking. You know what I mean? They be like, well, love them, and But at the same time, you supposed to care about your people. A lot of our people use that as a clutch because some of them really don't care about their people. Because I had a brother on live air. I was in a live app. A live app, and you can beam people in and talk to them. And he was, I had a beam, and I let him on, and I asked him some questions about this topic. And he was a young man, probably about maybe in his teens, maybe 18, 19, something like that. He probably wasn't even 19. He was a young man, because you have different ages of people on that app. I might be the oldest one. Now, I'm not going to say on average. You know, you have some older people that's on them, but more likely you have the younger people on the app. This brother said he didn't care. So my question and my response to him was, so let me get this straight. You don't care about what your people going through. You don't care if your people getting shot down in the streets. I said, you don't care about that. You don't care about your grandparents being that was raped, robbed, and murdered. And then you don't care about the history of your people, or what happened to your people. Is that what you're saying? I said, how could you not care about what? That doesn't give us the right to say we got to sit here and like not be numb to it just because God had punished us like that. That's not a license to say, hey, love your enemy and love. When he say love your enemy, it's not in that context. It's not talking about the other nations. It's only talking about your nation of people, our nation. The enemy is your brother, not the strangers. Because see, there's a difference between the strangers and your brother. When he say love your enemy, he's talking about the stranger, meaning the Israelite stranger who had lost their identity. You know what I mean? When we rebelled against our forefathers, rebelled against the Most High. He told us is to love the brother. Everybody's not our brother. You know what I mean? The strangers when he said, see, you have to look at it like this too. There are two different types of strangers in the Bible. This is what I think actually confused people when they say, well, the Israelites went off, the Jews went off, and the Jews rejected Christ. That's what they'll say. And then turn around and then God opened up the door for the Gentiles, the non-Jews, and gave them the salvation. But what do they fail to realize? They not understanding the context. The context was, when it talks about strangers, you got to be careful when you read the word strangers in the Bible. The strangers, just because it say, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, which is thy brother, that's talking about the Israelite person who went off and started worshiping other gods. And when they started worshiping other gods, they was called by those different bywords and terms and stuff like that, because they was doing the customs of them. You know what I mean? Let me give you another example. You remember the scripture in Hosea chapter, I think it's 1 and verse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, down to almost to a couple of verses to the last verse in Hosea 1. It says, and it shall come to pass when it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, there ye shall be called the sons of the living God. When he says, there it shall be said, he says, it shall come to pass when it was said unto them that thou art not my people, there it shall be said, thou art the sons of the living God. That's talking about when Israel went off and started worshiping the idols and started joining themselves unto the other nations. That's talking about, though the nation of Israel, they fell off and they drift off, and they were no longer called the chosen people because of the customs that they were joined to. Just like over here in America, a lot of our people we call ourselves black, Creole. I did it. I said, My mother's black and my father's Creole. That's what I said. I was using those terms as I was younger coming up. Now, because when our forefathers went off and started worshiping other gods, then we got those labels got put up on us, and we lost our real identity of who we were as a people. You see what I'm saying? And when we went off and we started worshiping and idolatry, adopting the so-called white man's religion and all that kind of stuff, then all these names was put on us. And I know how to prove all of that in the Bible. So that's the reason why a lot of our people is called African American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian, Mexican, all these different terms. Like what's the other one? American Black. I said that's the number one. What else? Puerto Rican. I said that already. Costa Rica. All these different terms like Panama and Guatemala. All of those that's the same as saying Costa Rica, are somewhat like similar to Mexican. You know what I mean? Yeah, it all similar to Mexican. Yeah. So all them bywords, Jamaican, all of those are terms of bywords. Hey, what's up, Minister Marsh? Yeah, man, that was a guy that I like. We grew up, we came up in our, we've known each other since we was in our 20s. He ought to be about 40, how old he is now? Let me see. What y'all saying? Don't ask me. You doing the camera, you doing the work, the filming. He ought to be, I think he might be around about the same age as me. I think he's about 44, 45. I think he's about 45 now, I think. Yeah, I think he's about 45. 46. He's probably close to 46 now. I think he's 46. We round about in the same age bracket. Yeah. But anyway, man, all those terms that was put on us, bywords like Creole, let's see here, Native American, let me see, Panama, Guatemala, and it's the same thing. Those names would be, Panama, Guatemala, and Panama would be Zebulon, according to the Bible. You know what I mean? I've been doing, you know what I mean? So those, the real name for Mexican would be Issachar. Puerto Rican would be Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim. Those are the Israelite name, the real Israelite name for those different people. You know what I mean? Every name and everything that people call themselves, the Bible has the biblical answer to those questions. But anyway, those bywords and terms, we call ourselves by them bywords because of the curses. Those are part of the curses because our forefathers declined to keep the commandments of the Most High God. They declined, they went off, meaning they declined from it, and they broke that contract with the Most High, and God put the punishment up on us. So he sent the enemy is to throw bywords and put these bywords and terms on us, signifying that you're a slave in America and throughout all the other coast, parts of the coast, west coast of Africa, West Africa, all of those different places, named West Africa, all those are, that was following the slave trade when a lot about Christopher Columbus went to the west coast of Africa and stole a lot of our people and brought them over there. And once they stole our identity, then that's how we started calling ourselves these different bywords. So I'm not gonna hold the video out too long because the video is about 14 minutes or something. I didn't intend to be that long, but it is what it is. It happened. So on that note, I'm gonna say I see y'all later. I'm gonna say much love to